Let me get the comments open as well.
I see it's frozen on my Periscope, but it might be me.
Yeah, my Twitter looks like it's rolling.
Your Twitter's rolling?
Yeah, I mean on my Periscope. Let me check yours.
Okay.
John Middleton. I see it on yours as well.
We good. We live.
I'll check YouTube here in a second, but let's just start. Countdown to kickoff. Anything else going on? This is the TV event of the day, John. Niners-Packers.
Okay, I got it on. You got any AOC breakdowns, or you want to start football?
Any what breakdowns?
AOC?
I got no political breakdowns for this stream.
Yeah, I've had enough. Let's talk some football.
You brought it up, not me.
No, I was kidding.
I'll tell you what I've been watching for the last hour, John. Nevada, Utah State. Big game in the Mountain West.
Is it on TV right now?
Yeah, it's on FS1. Nevada's 2-0. This guy, Carson Strong, their quarterback. Big guy. Big, strong guy.
Wait, they're playing their third game?
Playing the third game right now. It's week 3 of the Mountain West schedule.
God, the Mountain West is off and running.
They got this guy. Oh, you know where this guy's from? He's from Vacaville.
Vacaville High?
6'4", 215, redshirt sophomore. That's Nevada's quarterback.
I was actually
Wood
I
High.
went to an election get-together the other night with a bunch of people from Vacaville. Dude I went to Cal Poly with. He's really close with Kyle Devan. Remember the star player at Vacaville that went on to Oregon State, who played in the NFL, was a starting guard for the Peyton Manning Super Bowl team, I think, that lost to Drew Brees.
Okay.
Who's now, then became a coach. He became tight with Howard Mudd. He's Kyle Devan. His brother was there. Kyle is now the offensive line coach, I think assistant head coach, run game coordinator, something for Kevin Sumlin down at Arizona. He bounced around a little bit, like in the Pac-12. Played center, I think, for Mike Riley in like the early 2000s. One of your classic undersized Howard Mudd, Jason Kelsey. I mean, Jason Kelsey's the best version, but like that, kind of shorter offensive lineman. Become a good diehard coach.
I like an offensive lineman turned offensive coordinator. You don't get a lot of those run game coordinator. I want,
Andy Reid.
Well, like Andy, when they ran that play last week with the underhand throw from Mahomes, well, Zach Wilson, BYU ran it. Right. Of course, Andy watches every BYU game. I'm sure. You tell me, you would know. I mean, maybe they got it from the Chiefs, but I don't think it's an accident that BYU and the Chiefs ran the same play.
I wonder how locked in he is. He was really tight with Bronco. Like, Bronco was his guy.
Yeah.
Kyle Whittingham's his guy, too. Like, I think he's just really tight with
Whittingham's
Utah
son
guys.
is on the Chiefs staff, one of Whittingham's sons.
Yeah, I would imagine he's more locked in. Once Bronco left to Virginia, I don't know his relationship. Who's the BYU coach now?
Kalani Sitake, who everyone says is just the greatest guy. So I would imagine.
BYU guy, too?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's his alma mater, yeah.
Yeah, so then those guys stay tight together. But Kyle Whittingham is like Andy's guy. Did he just get a contract extension?
He did through 2027.
Yeah. Kyle, what has he been there, 75 years?
1994 is when he first arrived on campus, John. Not on campus, on the coaching staff.
I looked at the bio. It's kind of crazy. When Urban Meyer got that job, like he obviously, I would imagine he didn't keep that many people. Kyle was one of them.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know how many. Yeah.
That was a game changer.
Where was Urban? Like Ball State? Is that where he came from?
Yeah, Ball State.
Can we talk about what's going on tonight in this football game?
Isn't it kind of weird the 49ers play in about 15 to 20 minutes?
Well, I mean, a version of the 49ers play in about 18 minutes and 52 seconds and counting. Let me throw this up. Mayoko a live report, John, from Levi's Stadium. Matt Mayoko writes that the Niners lined up with River Craycraft and Richie James, their first warm-up snaps, with Nick Mullins. This is a 7.5 point spread. Is that accurate still?
I saw 7, but I mean, It might be 7.5.
No, I actually, instead of watching Packers film, because I just started pulling up Devontae Adams' Palo Alto High School basketball tape.
See, the thing is, like, when you play the Packers, to me, their best player by a mile is Aaron Rodgers, and they're I guess by a mile. I mean, Devontae is arguably one of the best receivers, if not a top 2 guy in the league right now. So they're best 2 players, those 2 guys. They're like the least of my worries if I'm a Niner fan coming into this game. It's like, well, I think my defense is still pretty solid. My corners actually aren't terrible. I mean, DK Metcalf went off, and it was really just one play that was crazy. Other than that, they were right there on a bunch of plays, which I'd say Devontae can do too. My thing is, how are they going to score? I mean, do you envision them scoring 17 points tonight against an average defense at best, especially a run defense? Jerick McKinnon isn't a very good at football, guy. Nice guy, I think. I've never met him, but great story, right?
Yeah,
I mean, he never quit or anything.
Fourth on the
He's
team.
not any good.
Fourth on the team in targets, so they've given him the rock. 7.5 yards per reception, 4.5 yards per carry.
But to me, Hasty is just a more explosive player.
Well, I understand. I'm just saying, of all the guys that are available tonight, the one they've used the most is Jerick McKinnon. I mean, only Kittle, Ayuk, Bourne have more targets than him this year. He has more than Debo. Obviously, you had injuries and stuff.
But. Do you remember the Niners running a fake punt under Kyle, or like a crazy trick play? Not like throwbacks or just something like,
yeah,
oh my god,
receiver throws. But you're talking about something weird. A fake punt.
I don't remember
Mitch
them doing
Wishnowsky ran one for Kyle Whittingham at Utah and then got a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for his celebration afterwards against the University of Washington. But I don't remember You
remember Mitch was on a punt that just depleted somebody?
Yeah.
And got like a helmet to helmet? Like
Yeah.
Mitch is a crazy motherfucker.
He is. Aussie.
I might bust out a fake punt tonight. I think tonight's a kitchen sink game and a game for Kyle. I mean, you win this game. It's a 7-8 point underdog. Whatever the number is, honestly, it could be 15 points.
Terry,
it could be. It's kind of crazy that this number,
because these numbers just don't get. It's a Thursday night game, right? It's like, are you gonna? And like you said, the defense is largely the defense. Now it's not Bosa's defense, but it is mostly the defense that we've seen. Now the crazy part is, for me in DraftKings, which by the way, there's a few spots left in the Ham DraftKings. The only
it doesn't start in 15 minutes, right?
No. It starts Sunday. I was just going to say, though, the only better performers for me than Russ, DK have been Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. But, I look back at last year when they were – the Niners last year scored 74 points against the Packers in 2 games. They actually scored 37 in each of the 2 games, and they were almost 6.5 yards a carry.
Guy, did you see the visual of the NFC Championship game? I saw like someone did a box score of like all the guys that crushed it in that game, and then the injury report. It was all the dudes.
Same guys.
It was like Mostert, Kittle, Debo. It was like boom, Jimmy. It's like see ya. I mean, Trent Williams just obviously doesn't have corona, but the contact tracing, I would say that's actually a lesser deal than Ayuk, just given that. I'm not saying Trent Williams is not dramatically better than School, but I have seen School with Kyle Shanahan. Like, Kyle Shanahan can't out-scheme his tackles. He did it last year for a 3 or 4 – actually, wasn't it like a 4 or 5 game stretch when both the left and right tackle were out?
Well, yeah. Is that what you're – yeah.
McGlinchey hurt his knee and Staley broke his leg.
I think you're right. I think the fact that the Niners have so few players available, that they've got receivers active that are not normally active, that they only have 3 players inactive, that they had this weird scenario, right, where they waive Dante Pettis a day before he'd probably get the most snaps he's ever gotten in a 49er game. Just like a crazy circumstance.
You text me that if they would have known that Ayuk would have got yanked because of this, do you think they don't waive him?
I think you still, even if you go like, oh, we don't trust him anymore after what happened in the Seahawks game, I think you have to keep him active.
He's been in your team for 3 years.
Would you agree with that? Or would you still waive him?
I would tend to agree with that. I do wonder if there was a level
reached
of
a point of no return.
I can't look at this guy anymore.
It's possible.
I can't look at him anymore.
But okay, but my point
I'm
is
with
like,
you. I mean, from a football standpoint, it makes, if you knew, it would have been pretty nuts to do it. I think there might have been a point, though, where they just said, listen, if Guy Haberman has to be our wide receiver today, I can't play this guy anymore.
It's very possible. It's very possible. But so all of that said, because you got all this other stuff going on, Kendrick Bourne is a valuable piece of this team.
I forgot about him.
Like,
Well, I forgot
They throw him
Ayuk.
the ball.
Ayuk wasn't the Corona guy. Kendrick Bourne was the guy. They lost. Those would have been by far their two best receivers tonight. I mean, that would have been Ayuk's their one, Kendrick Bourne's their two, and everyone else just plays a role. It's devastating. That's my point. The two wide receivers being out to me is much more devastating. And Debo, is Debo involved in this or no?
Well, Debo is, but he was out. Debo's out via contact tracing, and the Niners have people that are out for double reasons.
That's where I'm confused. Okay,
Yeah,
but
he's a
Debo
double
couldn't have
out.
played no matter what. Okay,
Right.
If you told me you can either have Trent Williams or the two wide receivers, I would easily take the
What
two
if
wide
I told
receivers.
you could have one of the wide receivers?
Yeah, I mean, I'd take Ayuk. I mean, yeah.
What about Bourne?
I'd
take Bourne. Like Bourne. John Bourne to me is so much more productive than anybody else they've got.
Yeah.
At wide receiver active tonight.
Had you ever heard of Fink or River Craycraft before?
Well,
River Craycraft played at Washington State, right?
River Craycraft was a baller in the pack. The other guy, Fink, no. I started sending.
I mean, are you joking, or like was he like a 90 catch guy?
No, he was a really good player. I mean, he played for Mike Leach in the air raid, but he was a really, really good player. Yes, I was not joking.
With Minshew and the guy last year?
Pre-Minshew.
Okay. So he's a little older.
Yeah.
He's been holding on in like the practice squad circuit now for a couple years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
which there are a lot of guys, and this is when we were blowing the AFF. Not like me and you literally pretending we were watching it like everyone did, but just saying like the
one of the
value
most remarkable nights in American sports media was the first night of the AAF where everyone was tweeting.
What was the Tokyo Baseball League early Corona when everything was off?
The KBO was but the AAF was like a Saturday where everybody I followed in the media was like, oh, tweeting as if they all got gift bags that we didn't get about just a couple positive tweets to the AAF and you get all this free stuff. It was so weird.
It did, like guys like River Craycraft, for example, that never get the opportunity in the NFL because there's not really reps for you to play once the season starts. I'm not saying he's this guy, but those guys do. Like, there is a chance 15 River Craycrafts in the league, just all over the league. Like, the Raiders have one, the Niners have one, the Rams have one, the Texans have one. One or two of those guys would be like Kendrick Bourne's if they just got their opportunity. And that's why football people were like, the AAF is going to serve a purpose to give those guys a shot. Like, we really need to look at this guy, where you just never truly know till this moment. And sometimes in this moment, sometimes this moment, guy, is just 30-0. You get mollywopped, and this is a night to forget. Or the game's kind of close, and you just like, damn, River Craycraft. Again, it could be the Finkel guy, Finkel Einhorn.
Is he active?
Is he not? I
don't think so.
Okay, so it's just River Craycraft.
And
Let's say he has like
Kevin White.
catches.
Kevin White has not caught an NFL touchdown.
Yet to me, it's more like I think everyone views him as a known, like he just stinks. This guy that no one really knows could have a moment. More unlikely than not. What I don't understand, do the Niners not have like once all these running backs got hurt? Why didn't they sign a guy to their practice squad to have like a Hasty on their practice squad to bring up? And it's the one thing that's hard, and I've seen like agents tweet about this. With their policy, and they're doing it to protect the games, which I understand, and I'm not some overreactor media guy. Like, the policy is there to protect the league. But you can't claim a guy, like once the Niners lose Tevin Coleman, they can't claim a guy on Monday like, hey, I'm just going to use a random team. The Cardinals have the best running back on the practice squad in the league. Hey, we want to sign you. You're going to be on our active roster for the foreseeable future. You might play this Thursday because you got a quarantine. So you're just stuck.
So
with
even if you're on some, because to me, like if we sign you off the street like Sanu,
but I think it's change. I don't know because Le'Veon Bell was on the team, guy, following the rules, cut. Chiefs sign him the next day. Boom, he has to quarantine for a week. But I support the league in the sense of we have one goal is to get these games off, and we saw a lot of freak out like I can't believe this game's going on this week, guy. They're not canceling the game. No, they're not, because there's no other game to be played tonight. And the Thursday night game, I don't know if you remember, I'm pretty sure it was like $900 million package. They're depending on every game is worth, I don't know, you do the math, about $100 million.
Also, they did the contact tracing. The guys that they contact traced tested negative.
But again, the argument's not over Corona. It's over what are we doing? Like you're going to make it's back to like what Belichick said earlier this week.
What did Belichick say?
Just this whole thing's a joke.
My YouTube channel disagrees.
Why? Again, we profit off it, but they're not. Like Belichick's getting his ass. He can't.
Well, what do I always say about this stuff? It doesn't matter who wins the Super Bowl as long as you have the Super Bowl. The commissioner and the owners right now just need to make sure they have the Super Bowl. They don't need to make sure that the right team wins the Super Bowl, or that it's the, like when you said earlier in the week you were all for expanding the playoffs, which I'm with you. I'm all for it. Why not at this point? Why not? Make as much money in the postseason as you can.
I think on a typical year, that shouldn't be the mindset. It's my push. I think we disagree sometimes on the referees. There is a level of it being unacceptable on just some of the stuff that happens. Like, oh, it's a human element. Yeah, I mean, the amount of money that's on the line now and jobs, like, I push back. This year, everything's out the window. So I get it. But, like, when you have blown calls in playoff games, all sports,
yeah,
like we're talking the money's upped and it's a different ball game now.
Not to get into that argument. My thing is always not that I'm not pro the human element. I just accept the fact that we have humans, and until we have robots, that's just
You're not into recalling all the referees?
We just have to replace them with somebody, and we saw what that looked like the last time we replaced the referees. It was a disaster.
Do you know what shows you? Everyone acts like when anything happens today, like it's like, oh my God, this will be remembered forever. No, it's not the way society works. It'll be forgotten in a week or a month. Like that's just, we've seen it. That is a moment because everyone's like, this counting the election's a good example. Like it did happen in 2000. Guy, I can barely remember like 2 years ago. I don't remember 2000, but clearly it was crazy when it happened. If like the ref thing happened today, it wasn't that long ago, right? I remember that Seattle game. I vividly remember the craziness of it, but I have forgotten it.
Something I remember I was doing the refs. The two refs. One said touchdown, one said incomplete. Marshawn came out in like no shirt or no pants or something.
People like me that talk shit about it, it did show how difficult the job is, and I've never disputed that, how difficult the job is. But once you're on that stage, there is a level of responsibility.
I know. Can we not talk about this right now? Can we not do the officiating thing right now?
No, but I just mean like tonight, like I don't know what that has to do with tonight. I guess
that's all I'm saying. We got like 6 minutes till the game starts.
No, but I get why they're playing. Like, because I think a lot of 49er fans are like, this is so unfair.
Let's talk about
even Packer fans. They lost players.
Aaron Jones is playing, but that's a calf thing, so we don't know how much he's going to...
Okay, if Aaron Rodgers had got corona, would this game still have been played?
Yeah. This game's getting played, unless there's an outbreak.
Well, let's say he had been one of the contact tracers, like with A.J. Dillon. You think it's still getting played and not pushed back till Sunday?
Better be.
What?
It better be. To me, it's just about volume. It matters more to the NFL that this game gets played on Thursday Night Football than it's the fairest contest they could have. As long as it's played safely, you're right. We have not had that situation really yet. Although the Patriots would argue, yes, we have. Our quarterback got knocked out of a game,
and their game got pushed back a little bit because it did send some waves.
But they also there was the potential for a larger pool of people, right?
Yeah, there was some unknown there, but it was the first time a quarterback had got it. Like I do think like Trent Williams got it. The league, and I don't blame him, goes, they'll figure it out. And I'm going to be fascinated to watch Kyle Shanahan after this game to see, obviously, if he won, I think he'd be really excited. But I do think he'll be pretty candid about the situation, which, because of Thursday Night Football, he hasn't had to talk since Monday.
Right.
Like, aren't you kind of interested to see what he talks about? Like, and I think he'll be pretty level in the whole thing. But I guess if he wins, he'll be elated. But I could still see him. He might say something that just pretty, wow, I didn't, he'd be the guy.
He's got a lot of season left, though, right? He's got a lot of season left. He's got to find a way, even if they lose this game. There's just a lot
I don't mean like
left.
Wave the white flag or anything, but I just think he could say something that everyone can be like, yeah, he's right there, right? Even LaFleur might. Like, this was a pretty crazy week. I mean, they had a running back loss. Like, I think they would say, like, it's happened to us, too.
Right. Yeah. Well, but that's the thing is where you hear coaches say, like, I can't. It's hard to complain. There's a difference between complaining and saying just, hey, this is the reality. I have no problem with any coach acknowledging the reality of the hurdles that they're trying to overcome, but it is something that everybody is dealing with. The thing that makes it, I think, so crazy for the Niners is they're dealing with it while they're also dealing with what appears to be just like historic injuries, right? It's the combination of those two things.
Well, that's where Kyle, when all this happens, he does they didn't have time to really bitch and moan, complain. Like the game's in fucking 24, 36, 10. It's in 5 minutes now.
David says 6.5 is the line now. Would anyone play Jones on the fantasy team tonight? Jerry wants to know.
No.
Probably wouldn't. Tanyan or Ingram? Someone said Ingram. I'd go Tanyan. Is it? Do we figure it out? Is it? Didn't he? It's Tanyan
I thought it's Tunyon, and he refused to tell everyone.
for 2 years.
What do you think about Niners +7? Should I put $100 on it right now, or?
My lock of the week preview on the podcast is going to be Titans, -6.5 against the Bears.
That's what I thought when they played the Bengals, and then they lost outright. I can't trust old Tannehill.
I know. If you're watching on either of our Twitter streams on Periscope, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll have a podcast out immediately after this game as well. Just want to promote a few things.
We live on the tube right now?
We're live on the tube, too. Yeah. I haven't checked on the tube, to be honest with you.
Hey, the tube.
Hey, tube. Not 2B, but just the tube. Yeah, we're on the tube. We got people on the tube. There they are.
When you see +245 as the Niners, like, to me, should they be like money line +500? Like, they should be an enormous money underdog. It feels like they're not a big enough underdog.
Wait, you said you've got what?
Well, I got the Niners +7, but they're
Yeah,
+245. Is that what you got?
I have +300. Now it's +270. I think it's bouncing around. I just had +300. Now it's +270.
I got to re-sign in then. I got to get the good odds.
Hurry! You thinking about taking a money line?
Well, I mean, it's just
More
You
legendary.
get good odds, Kyle Shanahan.
More legendary, winning this game or taking the 49ers to the Super Bowl last year, if you're Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I don't think you become a legend just with the Super Bowl appearance.
But you become a legend with this Thursday night. Kyle's done some weird things on Thursday night. You think about...
You got +300 on your MyBookie?
Well, no, it was, and then I signed in, and it's +270.
I got +245. You got +270?
Maybe it's because you're closer to Berkeley. They make life harder on you.
I don't know what's going on. Now, I'm gonna stay away. I've just been eyeballing some different bets. What do you think about $500 next week on Bryson DeChambeau 8-1? I mean, those odds are pretty shitty for an outright winner, but I heard some comments that he's flying trees. He played a practice round yesterday, and he's kicking ass there. Wedges into par fives. That might be my lock of the year. Bryson DeChambeau to win the Masters.
Seems kind of crazy to go lock on a golf tournament for one individual.
Yeah. 1 versus 150. Probably not ideal, but especially when the odds are 8-1.
All right, here's the question. How many points would it take for the 49ers to win tonight?
26. The Packers just lost at home 22.
I know.
And they scored 22.
I'm going to go Thursdays are weird. A-Rod trying to show out for his future team, but I'm going to say 24 points wins this game tonight. Weird Thursday night.
Any chance the Niners win?
Of course. This is live sports. This is why we play the games.
You play to win the game?
This is why we play, John.
Okay.
What's going on the game? My clock says 0 here. Have they kicked off yet? Did I line this up properly?
They went to Troy. They went to Joe. They got their Thursday night mass on. Troy's suit looks like it probably costs more than the 7 suits that I own.
So their mask has the Thursday Night Football logo?
Yep.
That's cool.
Joe, just a solid blue suit. Good-looking tie. Troy, no vest. Joe, no vest. The vest move is... I've always believed, I thought the vest move is a little arrogant. It's like, you're in such good shape. Like, yeah, we get it. You can pull that shit off.
But it looks good. I've been tempted. I've never gone through with it. I don't have a vest.
Neither guy has...
How about... Has Joe's
pocket
hair...
square?
Joe's hair is just... I don't even have it on, and I know it looks good.
Well, did you see Wes Welker's kid do the thing about Deebo Samuel?
Yeah, the candy? Or was that what was it, candy related?
Yeah, something about like the Kyle Shanahan sent him candy, and he said thank you to Deebo. I did this scroll through. I followed Wes, and then I went through a scroll of his pictures. And he has some tweets from like a year ago, and then I even went back farther. He has several tweets where he thanks the best hair doctor, I think, in New England or New York, that clearly Wes was losing his hair like 8-9 years ago. Wes Welker got hair plugs or implants, Joe Buck style, and now he's got great hair. And he thanks the guy like every year. The guy must be good. I'm
looking for his...
Do you think I should reach out and make a comeback?
Yeah. What was the...
I don't know, some doctor. I
Rick
think on
Barry.
the East
Remember
Coast.
Rick Barry? John
Oh, yeah.
used to do the ads all the time.
Now, remember, Joe did it, almost lost his vocal cords in his career.
Joe, the story that when Joe told the story, like when did he have a book coming out and he told people about getting plugs? I remember listening to it on a podcast and just being physically ill, listening to the sound, like how it feels, them going into your dome and all that.
Yeah, I mean, really, my only positive is I don't need to get haircuts.
It's a major positive, and no one knows if you just woke up from a nap.
Also true. And you never just get out of the shower or anything. No one knows.
All right, here we go. If we said what we needed to say here? Podcast coming up after. YouTube channel, go subscribe. Maybe the lucky few can get into our DraftKings game. Spanish language telecast also available by utilizing the SCP button on your remote control.
I think the key to this game, Guy, no touchdown on this first drive. I feel they have a chance. If Rodgers drives right down the field, I don't like Mullins' bounce back game. If they can just force a punt, I'll be like, there'll be some early life.
My key to the game, Mullins no picks, and the Niners have to be +2 in the turnover.
Yeah, I already don't feel great.
How about that Rodgers sketch?
Why does everyone else look so
Cartoon.
buff and he looks like old 43-year-old hippie? You notice every guy's look buff except him?
Everybody looks so jacked in those things.
That actually is a pretty good Rodgers sketch. Okay, let's enjoy.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you on the podcast afterwards. Thanks for hanging out with us.